Section 7 of Völsungasaga. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Völsungasaga by Anonymous. Translated by Eirikr Magnusson and William Morris. Section 7, Chapter 25. There was a king hight Xxv, who ruled a realm south of the Rhine. 3 sons he had, thus named, Gunnar, Hugni, and Guttorm. And Gudrun was the name of his daughter, the fairest of maidens. And all these children were far before all other kings' children, in all prowess, and in goodliness and growth withal. Ever were his sons at the wars, and wrought many a deed of fame. But Xxv had wedded Grimhild, the wise wife. Now, Buthli was the name of a king mightier than Xxv, mighty though they both were. And Atli was the brother of Brynhild. Atli was a fierce man, and a grim, great and black to look on, yet noble of mien withal, and the greatest of warriors. Grimhild was a fierce-hearted woman. Now the days of the Giukings bloomed fair, and chiefly because of those children, so far before the sons of men. On a day, Gudrun says to her maids that she may have no joy of heart. Then a certain woman asked her wherefore her joy was departed. She answered, Grief came to me in my dreams. Therefore is there sorrow in my heart, since thou must needs ask thereof. Tell it me then, thy dream, said the woman, for dreams oft forecast but the weather. Gudrun answers, Nay, nay, no weather is this. I dreamed that I had a fair hawk on my wrist, feathered with feathers of gold. Says the woman, Many have heard tell of thy beauty, thy wisdom, and thy courtesy. Some king's son abides thee then. Gudrun answers, I dreamed that naught was so dear to me as this hawk, and all my wealth had I cast aside, rather than him. The woman said, Well then, the man thou shalt have will be of the goodliest, and well shalt thou love him. Gudrun answered, It grieves me that I know not who he shall be. Let us go seek Brynhild, for she belike will wot thereof. So they arrayed them in gold and many a fair thing, and she went with her damsels, till they came to the hall of Brynhild, and that hall was dight with gold, and stood on a high hill. And whenas their goings were seen, it was told Brynhild that a company of women drove toward the burg in gilded wagons. That shall be Gudrun Xxv's daughter, says she. I dreamed of her last night. Let us go meet her. No fairer woman may come to our house. So they went abroad to meet them, and gave them good greeting, and they went into the goodly hall together. Fairly painted it was within, and well adorned with silver vessel. Cloths were spread under the feet of them, and all folk served them. And in many wise they sported, but Gudrun was somewhat silent. Then said Brynhild, Ill to abash folk of their mirth, prithee, do not so. Let us talk together for our disport, of mighty kings and their great deeds. Good talk, says Gudrun. Let us do even so. What kings deemest thou to have been the first of all men? Brynhild says, The sons of Haki and Hagbarth withal. They brought to pass many a deed of fame in their warfare. Gudrun answers, Great men, certes, and of noble fame, yet Sigurd took their one sister, and burned the other house and all, and they may be called slow to revenge the deed. Why didst thou not name my brethren, who are held to be the first of men as at this time? Brynhild says, Men of good hope are they, surely, though but little proven hitherto. But one I know, far before them, Sigurd, the son of Sigmund the king. A youngling was he in the days when he slew the sons of Hunding, and revenged his father and Eylimi his mother's father. Said Gudrun, By what token tellest thou that? Brynhild answered. His mother went amid the dead, and found Sigmund the king sore wounded, and would bind up his hurts. But he said he grew over old for war, and bade her lay this comfort to her heart, that she should bear the most famed of sons, and wise was the wise man's word therein. For after the death of King Sigmund she went to King Alf, and there was Sigurd nourished in great honour, and day by day he wrought some deed of fame, and is the man most renowned of all the wide world. Gudrun says, From love hast thou gained these tidings of him. But for this cause came I here, to tell thee dreams of mine which have brought me great grief. Says Brynhild, Let not such matters sadden thee. Abide with thy friends, who wish thee blithesome, all of them. This I dreamed, said Gudrun, that we went, a many of us in company, from the bower, and we saw an exceeding great hart, that far excelled all other deer ever seen, and the hair of him was golden. And this deer we were all fain to take, but I alone got him, and he seemed to me better than all things else. But sithence, thou, Brynhild, didst shoot and slay my deer, even at my very knees, and such grief was that to me, that scarce might I bear it. And then afterwards thou gavest me a wolf cub, which besprinkled me with the blood of my brethren. Brynhild answers, I will aread thy dream, even as things shall come to pass hereafter. For Sigurd shall come to thee, even he whom I have chosen for my well-beloved, and Grimhild shall give him mead mingled with hurtful things, which shall cast us all into mighty strife. Him shalt thou have, and him shalt thou quickly miss, and Atli the king shalt thou wed, and thy brethren shalt thou lose, and slay Atli withal, in the end. Gudrun answers, Grief and woe, to know that such things shall be. And therewith she and hers get them gone home to King Giuki. Chapter 26. Now Sigurd goes his ways with all that great treasure, and in friendly wise he departs from them. And on Grani he rides, with all his war gear and the burden withal. And thus he rides until he comes to the hall of King Giuki. There he rides into the burg, and that sees one of the king's men, and he spake withal. Sure it may be deemed that here is come one of the gods, for his array is all done with gold, and his horse is far mightier than other horses, and the manner of his weapons is most exceeding goodly, and most of all, the man himself far excels all other men ever seen. So the king goes out with his court, and greets the man, and asks, Who art thou, who thus ridest into my burg, as none has durst hitherto without the leave of my sons? He answered, I am called Sigurd, son of King Sigmund. Then said King Giuki, Be thou welcome here then, and take at our hands whatso thou willest. So he went into the king's hall, and all men seemed little beside him. And all men served him, and there he abode in great joyance. Now oft they all ride abroad together, Sigurd and Gunnar and Hogni. And ever is Sigurd far the foremost of them, mighty men of their hands though they were. But Grimhild finds how heartily Sigurd loved Brynhild, and how oft he talks of her. And she falls to thinking how well it were if he might abide there, and wed the daughter of King Giuki. For she saw that none might come anigh to his goodliness, and what faith and good help there was in him, and how that he had more wealth withal than folk might tell of any man. And the king did to him even as unto his own sons, and they for their parts held him of more worth than themselves. So, on a night, as they sat at the drink, the queen arose and went before Sigurd, and said, Great joy we have in thine abiding here,